Good evening, and welcome to the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. It is Monday night, the second Monday of December, and we are delighted to be here again. And it's two of us tonight, but we're gonna make it work. And so we'll get
Yes, we
started
will.
as we normally do, right? And so Um, I will introduce myself and say what I am grateful for. My name is Theodora Carter. I am a certified life and career coach, also an HR consultant, founder and owner of T. Carter Coaching and Solutions. And my mission and my passion is helping women live intentionally with clarity and courage so that they can live the life that they desire to live. And I am grateful for just another Monday. I'm grateful that I made it through this day. like you said, Regina, it feels like it's only Monday, but it feels like the entire week has gone.
Mhm.
It's been busy, and so I'm just grateful to be here. I am grateful for the little things that we often take for granted.
All right. Good evening. My name is Regina Booker, owner of Season and Fabulous. We're focusing with women 50 plus, getting their dreams, hopes, desires. Because, at that age, we are kind of like a fork in the road. Maybe focusing on retiring or empty nest syndrome or career change. We're just at that point. And not only women, just anyone, but focusing on women and help them know that it's never too late to start your dreams, desires, hopes, career change, or whatever it is that you need. Um, and that's what I focus on. And I am grateful for, like Theo said, just another day. It was a busy weekend and busy day. It feels like the day felt like I did a whole week, but I'm grateful that I made it through the day with the grace
Hmm.
of God. And I won't complain because you know what? There's always someone that had a tougher day than me. And right, grateful, like she said, grateful for the little things. And hey, I have covering, a roof over my head. It was a rainy day. you know, I have food to eat. So I am grateful because there's always someone that's less fortunate than me. And I am
Yes.
blessed. So I am grateful.
Yes. Yeah. So true. I mean, and I think it's just like we already know this, right? Gratitude is so important in just shifting your mindset. But I think also gratitude helps with this topic we're going to talk about tonight. So, welcome to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. Whether you're watching live or you will watch later, we hope that something we say will resonate with you. But tonight we are talking about your health and how your health is your wealth. Like it is probably one of the most important investments that you can make. And so um just want to dive into the importance of just being mindful of not only physical health but your mental wellness and your emotional wellness, right? And so um Regina, as you think about health in the sense of it being your wealth, right? What's one health habit or change you wish you had made sooner?
Hmm. Probably, God, there's so many. maybe exercising more sooner, or not. Well, I guess being consistent,
Mm,
more consistent with it and sticking with it, because that's so important as you get older. If you don't pick up the habit of exercising, it's more difficult, but it's so much needed. And as you get older, if you go to your well, when you go to your doctor, not if, they
mm,
tell you the importance of um, strength. Was it strength training? Not
yeah.
training, but basically you're losing your muscles. So it's very important to lift weights and things, Not
Yeah.
only we seem like we always do cardio, but it's
Mhm.
very important to lift weights. And I'm not speaking of something like real strenuous, but like a 5 pound or a 10 pound, whatever it is, to do arm lifts, leg lifts, something to keep your muscles, because you definitely lose your muscles. So if I've been more, here we go with your word, intentional about because that is so important, because I think it's more important than the food, because your body is just, you have to stay in shape with your body. So that's one thing that I really wish I would have focused on more.
Yeah, I think it's so true because I think the discipline and the consistency, right? But I think also for me it is recognizing, right, how important, like we talk a lot about that mindset shift,
Mm-hmm.
right? Reforming your mind. And I think it's also so important when it comes to your your health, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
um I think there are some things that we know we're supposed to be doing, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't use that same shift in our mindset, right,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that we're doing it. It's so crazy because my cousin, my younger cousin, he's a male, but and that's the other thing. Males lose weight differently than we do, usually quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But I also found during my time as a Weight Watchers leader that men will make a decision to do something and do it. Like it used to be, I would watch the husband and wives that come together and how the husbands will follow the program to the T, right? Because they done made
Mm-hmm.
up their mind that they are going to lose this weight and they're like doing everything exactly, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
would see how you have the husband and wife coming, and the wife is preparing the meals, the husband is preparing the
Mm-hmm.
meals, and they both get on the scale of the way, and he's lost like 5 pounds and she's lost like point 0.5, right?
Uh-huh.
and and the funny thing was, she would be like, I don't know how we ate the same thing, but then in all actuality, he was tracking every single thing that he ate. Versus
Mm-hmm.
she was like, maybe here, maybe there, right? So I think it's so important, like when you say that consistency,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when consistency is really, really important, it's during the maintenance phase of whatever
Mm-hmm.
we're doing, right?
Right.
Uh, you know, because I find like, whereas before I could be like, okay, I'm gonna buckle down, I'm gonna eat, right, and I exercise like maybe 6 times out of a week, whatever. But now because I'm older and there's a hormonal shift, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
drop weight as quickly as I did when I was younger.
Right.
And also the energy level, right? Do you
Right.
find that the energy level is different?
I do.
Yeah.
I was telling a coworker today, because I went to the doctor today. It was just a regular, typical um appointment. And so she's like, how's your doctor appointment go? I said, it went fine. I said, I was scared because I went away for the weekend and I was just eating crazy. But um, and I said I was so scared that I was gonna get on that scale because they always weigh you. And it's like, oh my God.
They always
And
weigh
that's
you
all I
up.
was thinking about. But I actually lost a couple of pounds. And so she said to me, she said, well, she said, because she noticed, she said, you lost a lot of weight over some. Says that, what she asked me something about losing weight. Um, she asked me, is that why? I forgot whatever it was, the reason we just got on the whole weight loss thing. I says, no. I says, I still exercise and stuff. I said, but sometimes I was telling her, I said, I use the YouTube exercises. I said, but sometimes those are worse because I'll do the walk and then I'll fall out after 20 minutes or so. And I'll be on the couch going, I said, I should have just walked because it's really more intense.
Yeah, those you can't sleep on those YouTube walking videos.
Hmm. Yep.
It's not just walking outside, right? It's the lift your legs and do the this.
Yeah, I said, you should try it because she likes to walk. And it was raining today. Maybe that's how we got on it. And I was telling her, and I was telling her I had the doctor's appointment, all that. So she walks every day on her lunch because she's also had a knee replacement, and so she likes to walk to keep it. And I said, whoa, well, you're not going to be able to walk today. She goes, I know. And she said, usually when it's cold, I still try to walk. I just put my coat on and it's raining really bad. I said, yeah, you probably shouldn't. And that's what
Mhm.
I told her. And she didn't know about the YouTube. And I said, but yeah, I said, but don't sleep on it. I said, you'll be falling out. And I told her how I fall out. I said, I can't even finish it. I said, sometimes I said, because that thing be having me going.
Yeah, there's so many
Uh-huh.
that you can do, but
Mm-hmm.
what I recognize for me is the what's it the burnout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how I realize that I definitely have to be mindful about downtime
Mm-hmm.
and not doing anything, like not only just physically but also shutting my mind down,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I try to listen to like audio books, like these mystery audio books, right? Anything that's gonna help me to like kind of like bring it down, because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm going. You could relate to this. You just talked about
Mm-hmm.
this last week, all right? Shifting into not doing as much as you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized that if I don't slow down, it impacts my mood,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the other thing I recognized over the holiday, because I traveled home, is sleep,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And the value in getting those 7 hours or 8 hours of sleep,
Right.
right? Because I will honestly tell you, like, I do my best here when I'm home. But I realized, like, when I was away staying at my cousin's house, like, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to bed. It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed, right? And getting the full, like, 7, 8 hours. And I was like, oh my God, like, waking up, not feeling groggy, not feeling, out of sorts. And so have you noticed, like, the difference in your energy, or
Um,
do you already get like proper sleep?
I try to be in the bed at least by 10.
Oh, okay.
But um sometimes I don't go to sleep. But then there's nights that I can't go to sleep. I get in the bed and then I just can't go to sleep. I'm like,
Mm.
oh my goodness. I don't know what that's from. And I hate those nights because then then I drag the next day. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I've slowed down, and that's my goal. I try to be in the house and I try to be in the bed by 10, but I probably should be in the bed by 9 because I have to get up at 5:30.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that's just to get myself together, to give my time so I'm not rushing.
Yeah.
I have to be at work by 7:30.
And I mean, and for me, I think that's a benefit. Like I don't really
Mm-hmm.
like this week. I will have to
Mm-hmm.
go in, like go out, right? And last week,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go into the office, but for the most part, I work from home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing that I'm trying to get back into is getting going to bed at a reasonable hour to get the appropriate amount of sleep so I could work out in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be an avid, person that worked out in the morning. And I will tell you that it did wonders for just the energy, how I felt throughout the day, right? The choices I made and what I ate. Because after you do
Mm-hmm.
the morning workout, you're really thinking about what you're putting in your mouth,
Right. That's true.
right? But the other
That's
thing is too, it prevents you from not doing it. Because when I do it at night, 9 times out of 10, I will get it done. But I realize that the workout is different, right? Like I'm kind of cutting it short, or
yeah.
you know, because I'm like, okay, now I'm tired.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, you just want to get it done, and it's harder in the winter to me because it's darker and just
yeah,
you, you know, in the summer it's easier if you got to do it after work.
yeah,
But in the winter, like it's like a day like this, it's rainy, it's this, and you just want to go home and get in the bed or something, relax. Not necessarily get in the bed, but working out is not, for at least for me, that is not what I want to do. That's a push.
And now for me, it's the opposite because for me, it definitely is like a stress reliever. Like, because when I'm working out, I'm not thinking about, I usually have on some good music. I'm not thinking about anything else, right? I'm totally able to focus on working out and doing what I'm doing. I'm not so, caught up on everything going through my mind of what I got to do. Like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, right? So I look forward to it, but after a long day, it's like, do I really want to do it? That's why I really
Mhm.
prefer to do it like in the morning. So I think rest plays an important part. I think in not only just energy level, but also I think it plays an important part in like this
The mental.
the
Mhm.
mental, right? The memory too, right?
Mhm.
Like there's so many things that rest um contributes to as far as your entire physical and emotional and mental wellness,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I think it's key.
Right. Like even if rest could just be like I really practice rest today at work, um, because I'm retired and I choose to, well, do substitute teaching, and I'm really on my I can go calm, don't, but I do it. So after I had a really good weekend and I came in today after my doctor's appointment and I chose not to exhort myself with those kids. And luckily, there was only, I think there were 3 absences, maybe it was 4 kids there. And the other 3 teachers, I let them do all the talking. And
Mm,
I kept seeing them do things that they probably wasn't supposed to do. I was at there. Now I watched like if they were harming themselves, of course I would just, but the
yeah,
typical like stop, don't do this, I'm like, I'm not doing this today. I said I don't have the energy. What I
mm,
mean, I was saving my energy. I chose what my energy was gonna go to, and it wasn't going to that today.
yeah.
And I came out.
But it's
But that was a resting period because I just sat there and I let my mind be at ease. they wasn't getting hurt. It was a rainy day. By the time I got there, their lessons was kind of almost done. Um, and the teacher herself, she leads the class, and we do whatever we're then there's
Yeah.
two assistants, and then there's me. So whatever she have us to do. So she chose to, after she did, I don't know what she did, because when I don't mean it like that, but when I came in, whatever classwork they did was finished, and she kind of let them um, watch movies for the rest of the day or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be stressing myself,
Yeah.
and it was really cool because I came out stress free, and I wasn't doing the yelling,
But you
and
know
that was
what?
no
But
fun.
but you know what? It is sometimes you have to,
hmm
like today, we had a team meeting. And I asked one question, I said one thing, but then my coworker was chatting me, and I was like, I don't have anything to say, right?
hmm
Sometimes you just gotta know
hmm
when to fall back,
Right.
right? When to be
Mhm.
quiet, right? When you
Yep.
and when you say, I have no control over this situation,
Mhm.
and so I'm just gonna fall back, right?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna worry about something I don't have control over. But I think the other thing is, like you said, it's that intentional rest. Like
Mhm.
every time I say to people, I drove up north, right,
Mhm.
for a holiday, see my family. They're like, "Oh my God, you drove?" And I'm like, "It was intentional." And you want to know why it was intentional? Because I was like, I'm not trying to mess with the TSA. I'm not trying to mess with the FF, whoever those got, the air controllers.
Mhm.
Because if they're having a bad day today, I don't want my plane to be the one that they send in the wrong direction, right?
Mhm.
But also, part of it was also, I know when I drive, I have total control over the environment.
Mhm.
I don't have to rush to catch a flight. I get in my car, I turn on my audiobook, and I drive
Mhm.
at my own pace, at my own leisure. I get to stop, rest, and I get to where I'm going when I get there. Like there's no hurry, there's no rush, right?
Mhm.
And it is the most relaxing thing,
Mhm.
right? It like honestly, people don't really understand it. I know they think I'm crazy, but I'm like, it is the most, and the scenery. It's you know, trees and mountains and water and just it's just peaceful,
Mhm.
right? So I think it's something to just really being intentional about what you consider to be rest, whether it is, like you said, deciding to take a step back and not
Mhm.
exert yourself, whether
Mhm.
it is to read a book. When I was at one of my jobs, I used to keep a puzzle in my office
Mhm.
on one of the cadenzas, and I would get up and I would do that puzzle, and it would be a break from the looking at the computer in between meetings. And then what happened is people would start coming into my office and see the puzzle, and then they would start doing a piece. So then
Right.
they start coming to my office as a break to do a piece of the puzzle.
Mhm.
And so it really became like this intentional way to like just have some downtime at work, right?
Right.
And so I think you have to find ways to make sure that you are intentionally resting, but
Right.
also just taking care of your body, right?
Right.
I
Right.
I I, I can't even say how long it's been since I stopped drinking like soda and juice. So now occasionally I might have some ginger ale, or I might have some orange juice or cranberry juice, but for the most part, I only drink water.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so recently somebody was like, oh my God, you have such great skin. What do you do? And I was like, I drink water. Right. And so I think it's also important to think about, right, hydration. Right now, don't overdo it, because some people be drinking 100 gallons of water and ended up in the hospital, because it's
Mm-hmm.
also for anything that you do, you have to do it in balance, right?
Right, exactly.
But it's just really understanding that your health is your wealth, right?
Right.
If you're not, and I'm gonna say this, you could be in the best shape possible, do everything right, and still end up having some type of illness, right? So I'm not saying that it's a guarantee, but you have a better chance, right, of living a life where you can move freely and get around and, you know, think and breathe and enjoy life without a lot of hindering you from doing the things that you want to do.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, because without your health, it does stop you. You just traveling, like even going to the airport. Airports now becomes a workout. You got to go one end.
Especially now that they have um renovated most of them. Like,
Hmm.
well, Atlanta is the worst, because Atlanta is one of the largest. Like, that alone is a obstacle course, right? But even now, going out of Charlotte,
Yeah,
right? Like, if you find American, it's their hub. They got their whole. It's like
I
a.
know.
It's like
It's A, B, C, D, and they'll tell you it's a 15-minute walk. I'm like, oh my God.
like
To each terminal, each A, B, C.
yeah.
I'm like 15 minutes. And they don't lie. I mean, it's seriously, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I,
Yeah.
and you're walking these long hallways. I mean, and there's little stores and stuff in between, but who has time to stop? But the scenery make it not seem like it. But if you really track the time, it really is.
I mean, honestly, there used to be a time when I'd be like, I don't like layovers. I like direct flights, right? But
Yeah.
there've been times when I've had to do layovers, and
Mhm.
now because of like what you just said, I'm like, you know what? I don't mind the layover, because you know what? I could spend the time just walking around. The airports are like a shopping, like
Yeah.
you don't have to buy anything, but just walking around, right? It's so much to do now, but it really is something to think about, your health being your wealth, and
Right.
the importance of taking care of yourself. So how do you know when your body is asking you to slow down?
You fall out. No. It gives you signs like you you just start feeling fatigue, you start aching. I know when I'm tired, my body gives me signs like I just start feeling that achiness or just the the tiredness, and I know I better slow down. Um, and sometimes a slight headache, or I feel drained, and honestly, I'll try to do something, and my body won't let me.
Mm,
My mind and my body, I'm like, I got to do this one thing, but you can't do it. Now you could try to do it and be a fool if you want to, and be in an accident. And that's what happened to me. I tried to run my body, and I was in an accident, and I learned from that. And so now I remember that day how I felt before I had the accident, but I kept
mm.
pushing myself to do that one last thing. no more.
Yeah.
So
And
when
they
it's
say
that time, I shut it down.
you got to know when to shut it down. I remember where I would get like literally I would get sick to I would be going so much that it I would get sick to the point where I couldn't get up like I couldn't do anything if I wanted to like get a really bad cold or get a really bad infection like
Quit
I think
freezing.
one time I got like a what do you call it a kidney infection, right? Like I don't even know how. Like I'm at work, right? And remember, I work in HR, but I've always worked in hospitals, and I'm sitting at work, and I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
flu or something like I got a cold, whatever, right? So I'm at work. I shouldn't have been at work anyway, right? Because the other thing is stop taking your germs to work, right? Making your coworkers
Mm-hmm.
sick. But I had like this bad like pain. But I'm thinking it's just like, part of the cold or whatever I had. And one of my coworkers, like who was like a physician, like one of the leaders was like, go down and get a ultrasound, right? So I went down and I got a ultrasound or whatever you call it, and I had a kidney infection,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so what? I was home, but I learned that
Oh wow.
it was important for me to slow down because I realized I would be pushing my body so much to the point of burnout would have me ill to the point that I could not do anything, right? And so now I am
Mm-hmm.
intentional about slowing down. Like I'm intentional. Like I make sure like Sundays, that is the day where I'm not making a lot of plans, right? I'm not trying to run around a lot. And even during the week, right? I'm very intentional about cuz there was a time where I was going to every event. I was trying to be there for everybody. I was trying to show up. I would have 3 or 4 events in one day. I'm in Jersey, going to the Bronx, back to Jersey, like just all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of it was keeping busy, right? Because I didn't realize at the time that I struggled with functional depression. So part of it was that, right? Just always keeping busy. But the other part of it was, just trying to be everything to everybody and realizing that you don't have to show up for every event. People understand if you
Mm-hmm.
can't make it to an event. And I think that's where it's also setting boundaries,
Right.
right? And so just talking about boundaries, what's some boundaries that you've set specifically for your health?
Well, try to, stay on the track of what I'm doing for my health as far as eating and exercising, and not to fall off so far, like going into if people have parties and things that we're not going off on a deep end, eating all kind of stuff, because I don't ever want to feel like how I when I when I was heavier. It was
Mm-hmm.
a horrible feeling. So I feel pretty good now, and I want to keep that, but I still want to lose some more weight, and just to feel good, to get it off of my knees and to be in a better place for me. So, and I don't go to all the shingdings and things like that. That's setting boundaries too, because you could end up going to all these parties with all these foods, especially around Christmas, all
Mm-hmm.
these events, and it's just all this food. And like over the weekend, it was just, and I'm not a person to go out to eat,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to eat. So we did go to restaurants, and but then there was desserts and stuff, and I had some. But I came home, I was like, oh my God, I feel horrible after this. But I didn't overindulge. But but I feel like it had me thinking all day about what I did over the weekend. Now I can't go back and change it, but I know you can't do that. Whereas the old me wouldn't have thought nothing prior to losing the weight. I wouldn't have thought nothing about.
Mhm. I mean, it's true because I
Mhm.
will tell you honestly. So here's some tips from my Weight Watcher leader days, right?
Mhm.
And it's things I still do to this day. I probably could be better, but so like this weekend, like you said, I had a couple events where I went on Saturday, went out to dinner, and even um when I was in New York, went out, right? And one of the first things I did when I see the because right now, depending on where you go, the portion sizes are large.
Mhm.
And so it's when they bring my plate, I have them bring me to go
Mhm.
box, right? And right away, I take some of that. Like this weekend, I had like chicken parmesan. I took one of the it was like two big pieces of chicken. I Let me put one away right away, right? So that's a tip. The other thing is I realized that what? This is not the last time that I'm going to get to have that bread. And this is not the last time that I'm going to get to have this, right? And so
Mhm.
I I will tell anybody I do not believe in deprivation. So I am not one of those people that is going on the you don't eat this diet and you don't eat that diet.
Mhm.
I I don't do well with deprivation. I believe in moderation, right?
Mhm.
And I think part of it is what you just said is being intentional about the choices that you make, right? So I always make sure I'm not going somewhere overly hungry.
Mhm.
I usually will start off with something hot to drink because when you drink something hot, it gives you it fills you up a little.
Mhm.
You eat less, right? But the other thing is to remind yourself that this is not going to be your last meal.
Mhm.
Right? But it's so important because one of the things you said, and I want you to expound on, is how losing weight, right? The benefit it had on other parts of your body. Like you said, your knees,
Mhm.
your feet, your back, right?
Oh yeah, it's tremendous. Like I was so I couldn't hardly walk upstairs without pain. I mean, I could walk up the stairs, but it was just so painful. The minute I lost weight, it was less painful. The more weight I lost, the less pain it was. So I like that feeling. My body was more limber. I could stretch more. I could do more. I can endure more.
Yeah.
So that's with all that weight coming off. And another thing I do when I go out to eat is I always drink water.
Mm-hmm.
I order water. I don't order the drink because half
Mm-hmm.
the time, and then you saving money because I don't even drink the drink. It's just a habit, and the drink really is sitting there. So I just have. What do you want to drink? Water.
That's it. That's my drink. Water, no ice. Anybody
Mhm.
that knows
Yep.
water, no
And
ice.
so every now and then I would order something, but I would end up not drinking it. So I'm wasting money too.
Yep.
So I figured, what's the point of doing that? And you want to drink the water anyway. So
Hmm.
that's
And I
another
mean,
thing.
and it's a balance, right? Maybe you have
Mhm.
a water and a drink, but I think one of the most important things is recognizing how, and I'm saying this because when I first went on my first weight loss journey, was in my
Mhm.
probably 20s, and I remember not being able to walk up the train steps, right? Living in New York, walk up the train steps without being out of breath. I'm in
Mhm.
my 20s, right? But I
Mhm.
remember starting a job at the Girl Scouts and going to the nurse and getting on the scale and like being like, oh my God, right? And that was
Mhm.
the first journey of really being intentional about weight, but then it was more, but then it wasn't so much about the weight. It was about, like you said, how I felt. I had more
Mm-hmm.
energy, I was more limber, and I had more confidence,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and so I think your health is your wealth, in the sense that how you feel about yourself impacts your mental wellness as well,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Um, so I think that is so important. So what part of your health journey surprised you the most?
Surprised me the most. Wow. I never thought about that. Let me think. Uh, like how I felt? Like, I don't know. I guess it could be anything.
It could be anything. Like what surprised you? Like you're an avid walker, right? Was that something you got into because you were thinking about being healthy? Or did you ever think that you would be like a member of Girl Trek, right?
Mhm.
Where you walk.
No, I did that. You know what? That probably did surprise me the most because now that you mention it, um, once I really start walking, and when I got up to walking 4 miles a day,
Oh wow.
and it really, when that, when my tracker, my exercise tracker, my watch said four. When I hit 4 miles, I was like, whoa, like, when did that happen?
Did it
That
become
that
like
did,
nature to you? Did it become like just something that
yeah,
was?
it did. And then one day, my son, he came to Charlotte and he was looking for me. He called me and he says, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm walking." And he said, "Where are you?" So I told him what part of my neighborhood I was in, and he caught up with me and he's like, "Ma, you walk from your house to here?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You do this every day?" I said, I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Shoes, I need to be walking with you."
But think about how
And
you,
so that like kind of made me feel good because here I
right? Like think about how that makes you feel, right? Like
am. So, and I need to, and see now with my knees, and now it's not really because it's because they're trying to say that I need to have a knee replacement, and I'm fighting it with all my heart, and
mm,
I cannot walk like I used to. Is
mm,
that, and the word I can never pronounce with the bottom of my foot, that you probably can say it, the
not your the what's it? Not Achilles. It's not your Achilles.
it's not the kill, it's the other one, the something pardite, the bottom part of your foot. But um I never can say that word. And now I can't even think of what it starts with. But retrophiitis or something, the something, when everybody say, I'm
Is
like,
it
yeah,
the planta
yes, that.
fasci fasci?
Plantify. I
Yeah,
can never say it, but that.
yeah.
So, and my doctor told me that I should not be walking as much,
Mm.
and that just kind of killed my joy. So she says, "You really should be riding a bike," and everyone else I was like, "Oh my god, that's so boring." Like the stationary bike. I was like, "You love it, but I."
I mean, but I
Well,
do
you
other
know the
things.
pedal trunk. That's different. That's to go to
Yeah.
the gym and just ride that bike. I'm like, oh my god.
But in the gyms now, I think they have little like machines, like programs you can follow or
It
whatever. But
does, but it's still. I just can't. I try, and I all I do is like, how many minutes have I been doing this? I just watch the clock. I just watch the clock.
I usually have a good playlist. Well, first of all,
Even
if I'm riding the Peloton, I usually pick a class with a good playlist. But if I'm walking, I also have on the app, I can choose a program, but I have the same thing right now. Like my Achilles heel acts up,
Mhm.
and so I've had to kind of dial back on walking as much. Um,
Mhm.
and so now I have to probably ride my because I try to switch it up, but now
Mhm.
I have to ride more than I walk because
Yeah.
otherwise I aggravate my Achilles, and
Right.
I'm trying not to have them say I need surgery. So I will
Yeah.
just like do the stretches
Mhm.
from physical therapy and stuff like that. But
Yeah. So
but here again we get back to your health is your wealth,
right. Mhm.
because if you are not taking care of your body, right,
Mhm.
it impacts you not only physically but mentally, because when you're
Mhm.
not able to do the things that you enjoy
Mhm.
doing.
Right. And it's kind of put a whole um like stop into
Yeah.
my ex because I don't I gotta find, and I'm not gonna say I don't. I got to find something that I'm comfortable with that makes me motivated besides my walking. So I gotta find something else that makes me just as motivated as I did with my walking.
Do you like the pool, like
I do.
water aerobics and stuff like that?
Mhm, but it's not offer. It's the classes that I was going to. I was going to them in the summer. You know, often they're during the day. So
Did you try? You tried you know they opened a new Y in Harrisburg. It's amazing.
where in Harrisburg? I'm trying to think. You know, I live close to Harrisburg too.
It's the Z Max. In fact, yep, it's Z Max Boulevard. Like
Oh, I
there's
don't.
like a park over there. It's you know where the cookout is on 49.
Oh yeah, it's by me.
So if you make that turn into where the cookout is and you go straight back,
Hmm.
the Y from where it used to be, they've moved, and the new Y has like they have pickleball now.
Oh, there
They
you
have
go.
basketball courts. They have a pool.
So
Um,
they moved it, or is it in the same place
they moved it. So it used to be
by
um
the cookout?
no, it used to be away from the now it's by the cookout. It used to
Oh,
be
now it's by the cookout. So it's
yeah,
behind that place.
yeah, it's like behind there is there's like a park back there.
Yeah.
You know where
Okay.
that park is, that huge park. They have like a field and all this other stuff.
Okay. So where they built that cookout, before the cookout was there, I used to go walking with one of my friends, and I didn't know that that's where that park, because it's that park is kind of hit, and it go you have to go behind.
Yeah, you
I
have to
didn't
go
know
like
that's where
you have to
that.
go
Okay.
like and they actually have like a gate that I think closes at a
Yeah, I
certain time.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I
So
didn't
what
know, yeah,
so
because it was empty there, so I didn't know that's where the
yeah,
cook.
so now if you go in
Mhm.
and you make this right, that's where they put the new Y.
Hmm. Maybe I should check that out because that's really
Because
close to my.
oh yeah,
That's
because I think you probably get the silver what's
mhm.
that from being a
Silver sneaker. Yeah,
yeah, the silver sneaker. I
I
mean,
should go
and
check
they
it
have,
out.
and now that they moved, they have a pool, they have more equipment, they have it's huge, it's big.
All right, I'm gonna go check it out and see if it's something I could do. Meaning, if it works with my schedule.
With your schedule, yeah, that's
Mhm.
the other thing. But that's where the intention comes in, right? Like I know
Mhm.
people are like, "Oh, she always talking about being intentional," right? But I literally, when I went home, I packed um my exercise clothes, right? And
Mhm.
so I think it was one of the days I got up and I said to my cousin before I was like, I'm gonna go for a walk,
Mhm.
right? and went, did me a nice little 35 minute walk. That first night I got there, I went with her for a walk with her dog, right? So the other thing I do now when I travel is I always take at least one or two workout outfits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always make sure I'm going to work out at least one time while I'm away, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that intention because, like for me, I wanna be as serious about taking care of my health as I am about managing my finances, right? As I
Exactly.
am about,
Mm-hmm.
right, taking it. And I think that's the thing. People get so focused on some of the other stuff that it's like, let's talk about the essential oils, right? Before we
Mm-hmm.
before we wrap up, right? It's like there was a time when I was like, oh, I don't have the money for that. I can't spend the money. But then I'm like, we spend so much money on other things
Mm-hmm.
when the investment in your health, right, is
Mm-hmm.
important. Because if you're not healthy physically, mentally, emotional, you're no good to yourself or anybody else,
Right.
right? So and so now, I I manage it well because I'm like some of the stuff, but I use like natural toothpaste. I use natural
Mm-hmm.
deodorant, right? I try to use natural lotion. Like I'm trying to get away from like just how we look at our labels on food.
Mm-hmm.
I now look at the labels on the stuff that I put on my body,
Right. Yeah.
right? Because that's one thing I learned from Netta, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
just about what you put in your body, it's
But
also about what you put on your body,
on your body. Exactly. Yeah.
right? So,
You're right, because I make sure, I mean, sometimes with the oils, I can't, I order my oils every month,
mhm.
and it's become part of my, it's part of my routine. And some months I just look at, okay, this is all I can do. Some months I can order more. And I have a list of things. Now I know what I use, so I just order stuff over and over. And then if there's
Yeah,
something I want to try, then I'll try it. But pretty much I have what I order,
yep.
and that's it. And new stuff come out, I'll look at it and see if it
Mhm.
works for me, then I'll try it. But like you're right, I it's part of what, it's just like going to the grocery store. It's what I need. So,
Yeah,
and I get it. I don't make no qualms about it. This is what I use. I use a toothpaste. I love it. I
yeah.
hate when I run out of it and then I got to use something else. I could tell the difference. I'd be like, oh my gosh.
So I just found in Trader Joe's their natural like toothpaste.
Hmm.
So I bought that because, like you said, when I run out, I'm like, at least
Hmm.
I have something that's close to it until I get it again.
Right, right. I should just go and get that because I have, the other stuff.
Yeah,
I
but
just
I
think I
mean,
had that left over
yeah,
from
but
when.
that it's important. Like people don't
Hmm.
realize. Like honestly, um, I'm just gonna say it, right? I'm about to be 60, right? You're about to be what, 65, right? More,
67.
67, right?
Hmm.
And nobody would really know that, right?
Mm-mm.
Because we're still able to get around, we're still mobile, and
Hmm.
it all is because of that intention about realizing that our
Hmm.
health is our wealth, right? Like
Hmm.
being intentional about how we are taking care of ourselves, getting enough rest, making sure we're staying hydrated, making
Hmm.
sure we're moving, right? And movement doesn't mean you got to be doing these crazy workouts.
Hmm.
Walking is probably the best exercise that anyone can do. Like, yeah, I love the time, I love to spin, but I also love to walk, right?
Hmm.
And like you said, it's also important to do
The
strength
strength.
exercises, right?
You, especially, women 60, well, actually, I don't know. I know they started telling me, I can't really remember in my 50s if they, my doctors told me, but I know in my 60s, they just really stress it right now.
Yeah,
because they keep.
my doctor started talking about it in like in my like I want to say one of my doctors every year, my GYN in Jersey, every year when I went for my annual, he scheduled me for a bone density test.
Mm,
Right. And then in my 50s, I always would have doctors that ask me about, they would schedule bone density, or they would just ask me, are you getting enough calcium? Are
mhm,
you exercise? Are you doing strength? Right. So
mhm,
it is important to make sure that you are building muscle, because as
mhm.
we get older, we tend to lose.
Yeah,
So, right.
I know they really stress that. The
So,
maybe I didn't wasn't paying attention in my 50s, but
but
I know I was like, why do they keep telling you about this?
But I think we go through, I think we go through those moments. And I think the most important thing for me is recognizing, the importance of the maintenance, right? Like I
Mhm,
literally lost weight years ago, like 57 pounds, and I kept it off for like 8 years,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
And so I think like that's the mindset I'm in right now when I think about
mhm,
my health being my wealth, is getting to a point of where I feel comfortable,
mhm,
right, in my clothes, but also feel comfortable in being able to move and get around and have good energy, right? I am lucky to say that, because I have not experienced some of the other stuff that individuals that go through menopause um struggle with,
mhm.
right? I didn't really get the hot flashes and all of that, so but being mindful of the fact that I still need to be careful of, hormones are do shift as you get older, right?
Right.
Um,
Mhm,
and it's important to make sure that you're feeling good physically, because how you feel physically definitely impacts how you feel mentally,
mhm.
right? And so as we hit the top of the hour and we're closing out, um, if you could give, I was gonna say your younger self, but I'm gonna say not even your younger self. If you could give someone out there right now who is like in their like 30s or 40s, right, a health tip, right, or something that you would think, if I could have done this different, right, what would that be?
I would definitely get an exercise regimen going
Mm,
intentionally and consistently doing
mm,
it. Talk to my doctors. Seriously, take all these tests that need to be done. Like check out your body. Because I didn't do that. I never had any health issues. That not necessarily that you, but a maintenance. Make sure go to talk to your doctors. Um, have them give you some type of not that they're to be all, but research things to find out and check out your history to see if there's anything in your family or some things that you need to do. Um, but basically start have a good workout regimen. But checking out your family history is part of that as well. I mean,
mm,
I was fortunate enough that I didn't really have anything in I mean, my dad had some issues, but they didn't pour over into me. He had heart artery, what do you call that? When
oh,
the heart,
clog.
yeah, clogged arteries and things like that. But his issues, fortunately, thus far, I've never had.
Mhm,
So I'm blessed with that. And my mom, she's kind of in excellent health, and she's 92. She 92.
mhm.
She turned 90. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she turned 92. She doesn't
Mhm.
really take any medicine. She has arthritis really bad, but
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do for that.
Yeah, I mean, and there's
Yeah.
people younger than her that have problems
Mm-hmm.
with arthritis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So what I would say is, probably similar to what you said is um honestly just be mindful of the things you need to do to be consistent, right? The
Mhm.
discipline, enjoying life, but in moderation when it comes to food, right? But I would
Mhm.
say these are the areas that truly matter when you are thinking about total wellness is getting the proper rest, making sure you are sufficiently hydrated, meaning drink water.
Mhm.
People who don't drink water, right? Setting boundaries for yourself and others as it relates to your health, right? And physical, mental, whatever. Moving, right? So, like you said, exercise, I think is key. Just these are some of the things we talked about tonight. I feel like how important moving is, right? And when you get to the point where you might not be able to do something that you enjoy, find something else that you might enjoy.
Right.
Like how we talked about, you're not
Mhm.
able to walk anymore, but you do like the pool, right? So
Mhm.
maybe water aerobics, right? And then the last two, which I think are truly important, are peace and joy, right?
Yes.
Right? And so you are the owner of your peace, right?
Mhm.
So you get to, and that comes with the boundaries, right? You have to establish boundaries that you honor, but also other people honor. And you have to be mindful of protecting your peace. Your peace should be a priority. And I think joy comes from just the inside, right? There's a difference between happy and joy, right?
Right.
Sometimes
Mhm.
for things that make us happy, but joy is internal. And I think that comes from practicing gratitude,
Yes.
right? So just be remember that's why every time we open this show, the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network, every time we open this show, we start by introducing ourselves and saying what we are grateful for,
Grateful for.
right?
Yes.
And that's not something we just do on this show. I will tell you, each and every one of us that are participants on this show or on this network, we practice gratitude daily. And so
Mhm.
I would say gratitude is also important. And so if you think about those items I mentioned, rest, hydration, boundaries, movement, peace, joy, those are the things that truly matter in ensuring that your health is your wealth. That is how you build through wellness, right? So as you're thinking about your wellness journey, think about in those areas, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, right? Of how you're doing in each and every one of those areas. And if your score is lower than a 3, you need to think about what is one change or one thing you need to do better with making sure you're making your health a priority. And
Yes.
and so that is it tonight. The Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. We hope that something that we said resonates with you, whether you're watching this live or you watch this on the replay. We hope that something we have said resonates with you and helps you as you build wealth through wellness. And have a great night. And we'll see you here again on Monday night, next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New You Nation Network. Meet us here for the Woman to Woman show. Have a great night.